Warm. Some of the very best on dirt started here and thrive still. The 358 Skull Bandit Racing Super Dirt Series has summoned over 50 qualified pilots to this yearly championship race, and thus the annual controversy has raised its head once again. Big Block brothers have taken advantage of the opportunity to run here and have wrestled away substantial prize money. Today, the small block champions take on the best of their big block brothers. It's the Prolong 200, and it's live on Rush Hour.
Dirt tracking, born in the cornfields and lower 40s of rural America. Dirt tracking, the cornerstone of racing. The early barnstormers put it all on the line to satisfy their thirst for speed. Now, their great-grandchildren carry the torch with the same spirit and thirst. 700 horsepower rips the earth. For 1 hour, nothing else matters. It'll raise the hair on the back of your neck. Rush Hour on Dirt.
We are live at the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse for Dirt Modified Racing's annual Spectacle of Speed, Super Dirt Week 26. Today, it's the Prolong Super Lubricants 200 for 358 Modified. Hello once again, everybody. I'm Doug Logan. Welcome to Rush Hour. Today's race is truly one of a kind. And Super Dirt Week is the only time these 358 Modifieds hit the track here at the Moody Mile. Joining me is Dirt Motorsports racing analyst Gary Montgomery. And Gary, first and foremost, for our racing fans, we're going to see a lot of cars in the track today.
Absolutely. 55 cars, the largest field we'll see all weekend, perhaps the largest field of any major stock car race anywhere in the world. The drivers come from varied backgrounds. Some of the Saturday night regulars that you'll see at your weekly racetrack, and then the professionals that you see on Rush Hour Live. And that translates to big bucks and fast cars, to limited budgets and slower cars. And that's the big deal. Traffic will be a major factor. Track position a major factor. And it's going to be very exciting. That difference in speeds and the number of cars make it a both exciting but a very dangerous race.
Another big deal today. For the first time during Super Dirt Week, we're going to see action in the pits.
That's right. And we talked about track position being a factor. Well, it'll be determined right here on pit road. The question is gas and go or gas and tires. They really ought to change tires, but if they have to give up too much track position, they'll gamble on the tires. That could be a factor as well. Additionally, the pit road is good for about 30 cars. We got 55 cars. It'll be very crowded down here.
Now, our pole sitter for the Prolong 200 is accustomed to running up front here in Syracuse, and he's standing by in the pits with our cowboy, Paul Small.
And that's probably because he's won the Big Block Phase 300 twice in his career. Jimmy Horton, your thoughts on today's race?
Well, it's a long one. We just got to, plan pit stop strategy right, and just kind of ride the first part of it, and keep the race car under, so we don't want to wear it out in the beginning, and just keep her clean.
Now, one of the guys that's been a star in the 358s and the big blocks this year, he's having an incredible year, Dr. J. Danny Johnson. Danny, Jimmy's alongside of you, but there's a guy about 3 rows back that you've been tussling with all season by the name of Hearn.
Yeah, well, I don't think I got to worry about him because he's there behind us, and we got a fast car. I think we can keep ahead of him, and I got to thank the Freightliner team for such a great car, and if I could beat Jimmy here off the start, we might have something. We'll see what happens.
These two are going to be drag racing into the first turn to try to get there first, but a little bit further back is a guy who's finished first plenty of times in the 358. He's with our Andy Fusco.
And Brett Hearn, Danny Johnson's I haven't got to worry about him. He's starting behind me.
I think we should be there pretty quick, I would think. I don't know. I talked to Charlie today. I told him, I asked him how much play he had in the steering wheel. He said it's pretty tight, so I guess we'll be able to race with him.
The fans, perhaps some of the teams, think there's a rivalry between you and Danny. What do the drivers think?
Geez, I really don't know. I never really asked another driver, really. I mean, it just happens that a lot of times we end up going at each other for the lead, and, it's just the way things work out. Sometimes it could be somebody else. You just never know.
You've already won $18,000 this week, 4 satellite events. Is this one a dream come true?
Well, it's not over yet. The big ones are still to come, and this is the first one of the 2, and we'll know after today if we're still on a roll.
Indeed, it is a big one. Back up to you guys in the tower.
Thank you very much, Andy Fusco and Cowboy Paul Small. And oh yes, I think there's a little bit of a rivalry between Brett Hearn and Danny Johnson, Gary.
Yeah, he didn't ask anybody else. We don't know what he thinks about it.
We are live at the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse for Dirt Modified Racing Spectacle of Speed Super Dirt Week 26. the Prolong Super Lubricants 358 Modified Championship. Our coverage continues on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. Super Dirt Week.
Prolong 200.
Rush Hour on Dirt is brought to you in part by Easy Care Extended Service Contracts, Budweiser, the king of beer, Hoosier Racing Tires, Sunoco A+ Mini Market, by CarQuest Auto Parts. Welcome to the pros, CarQuest. And by Prolong Super Lubricants. No equal in the world. Prolong.
Dirt, sand, and gravel poured into an open engine with no oil, running at 5,000 RPM. And the only thing protecting it is Prolong engine treatment.
We weren't sure that it was as good as what we saw on television. When we put it through the paces in our shop, we were able to do the testing ourselves with them there and do anything we wanted to it, and it still lived through what we put it through. Yeah, we were certainly convinced that it was a great product.
It's easy to use. Just open the top and pour it in. Extend the life of your engine and save money. Call now to order.
Super Dirt Week event apparel. Super Dirt. Hooded sweatshirt. Event apparel. Tie-dye tee. Super Dirt. Winter jackets. Event apparel. Event tees. Super Dirt Week. Event apparel. Super Dirt Week event apparel.
Honey, pinch me.
There is a place called paradise. I have seen the beauty of its islands, felt the warmth of its beaches, and heard my name whispered along its trees.
Leonard.
Oh, bummer.
Dreaming of a tropical island getaway? Florida's Lee Island coast. Call for your free visitor's guide to the Fort Myers and Sanibel area.
We are live at the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse, New York. Super Dirt Week 26 and the Prolong Super Lubricants 200 Championship. And we're looking forward. We have a huge crowd once again. Looking forward to tonight's big race, today's big race, and so many folks on hand to enjoy in all the festivities.
Yeah, that's right. There were 20,000 people here before the races got underway. That was, they came in over the last weekend, actually started coming in. So we expect we got about 75,000 here today. That's what it takes to pay the bills on this. It's a $85,000 race.
In any race, most especially races of distance, tire wear is very significant as an issue. Let's take you back to yesterday's qualifying race, and we will focus on the leader of the race, Joe Plozek, in the Canada #1. He had a tire that blew on him between turn 3 and turn 4.
He certainly did. He was leading the race, and here we see the tire's already blown at that point, but it went with such explosion that it tore the sheet metal right off the car. Now, we're looking at that car now. You would never know it had any damage. But the tire wear is very much a factor. We talked about that at the head of the show. Will they change or will they go the distance? We're going to find out later on.
And what is the consensus as far as Gary Montgomery is concerned?
Well, they ought to change, but track position, again, is the whole deal. If the leader should change, then that'll give the guys some things to have some time, and they may do the same thing. They're going to be skating around here at the end of the race if they do not change tires.
All right, well, yesterday it was a scary moment for Canada Joe Plozek. He's standing by down pit row with Andy Fusco. Andy?
Hoosier tires on the fastest car in this race, the Canadian #1 Joe Plozek. Because of the lottery start, however, he's back in 8th place. Joe, you got to be concerned about pit stops. Yesterday you had that event with tires. What's your strategy today? Do you change tires on the Canadian #1?
Well, yesterday's deal was a little different. I think we picked something off the track and it was going flat for 2 or 3 laps. But today, I don't know. It's going to be a cat and mouse kind of game with the front runners here. I'm going to watch what they do, and hopefully I can just gas and go. But if if they're changing tires, I may have to.
Now, you'll make that call right on lap 31?
We're going to make it probably on lap 31, yeah.
They don't know their strategy until they actually have to do it. Now Paul Small's got our defending race winner.
And Kenny Tremont is like a reliable pair of shoes. A little broken in, but very comfortable. You don't think about him much, even though he's won this race 3 times. Kenny, you're starting a little bit further back than usual today. What's the plan for this race?
Well, you know, to start with, we're just going to see how things go. We're not going to get too crazy, try and pass a lot of cars. I want to see how the car feels, and you know, we'll just try and get in position for our pit stop. But you know, to start off with, we're just going to take it easy, and then later on, we'll see what's left to race with after we get past halfway.
Kenny Tremont, the defending race winner in this Prolong 200, set to fire off this afternoon and look for win number 4.
And the Prolong Super Lubricants 358 Modified Championship, 200 kilometers, will take the green flag when we come back. We are live at the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse. Super Dirt Week 26 on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. Super Dirt Week.
Prolong 200.
In the days before credit cards and checkbooks, if a customer didn't have cash, that customer was out of luck. But even back in 1898, J. Milton Eckert knew there had to be a better system. If a customer in his drugstore needed medicine, Eckert would find a way to help, even if it meant accepting corn seed or even farm tools in trade. Whatever helped the customer most, that's what Eckert stood for then, and still does today.
Doing here?
It's one of those other hot dogs.
An imposter. Oh, come on, guys. Please let me be a Hoffman's hot dog. No one will know if you don't tell.
You're out of here. Take that.
Only the best hot dogs can be a Hoffman's German Frank or Snappy.
You may face some stiff penalties with a checking account at a big New York bank if your balance falls below the huge minimum. For using an ATM. For writing a check. So you may want to open a classic checking account at Home Federal. Balance is down to $100? No penalty. Want to use our ATMs or write a check? No penalty. Hey, it's only fair. At Home Federal, you don't have to go far to get far.
I think every team goes into the season saying they want to make the playoffs, but we truly believe this year that we have the team to get there. We got a lot more of a veteran team this year, and I think that's going to really help us.
Travis Green, and he scores!
We've been working hard since day one. That's been incorporated from Rick Bowness and the coaching staff. It's going to be nothing but a positive and exciting year for this team. I think the sky's the limit.
Doug Logan along with Gary Montgomery back at the New York State Fairgrounds, the Prolong Super Lubricants 200 Championship, all part of Super Dirt Week 26. Let's take a look at our race analysis. This is 200 kilometers or 125 laps. Caution laps count till the last 3. We'll have 3 laps to end this race, guaranteed green flag. The purse $80,000 and the winner's share $25,000. As far as the weather is concerned, well, it's been perfect all week long, and the forecast continues for mostly sunny skies. As for our track description,
a 1 mile fairgrounds flat oval, absolutely flat all the way around, 1,400 feet on the straightaways. As we said, no banking, not on the straightaways, not on the corners. It's a horse track.
Now, how about that track condition, Cowboy Paul Small?
Down here on the front straightaway, the widest portion of the racetrack, it is hard as a rock down here. It's also very wide and very smooth. You do most of your passing here, but with the shade from the grandstand, this is also one of the slickest parts of the racetrack. But not every part of this racetrack is smooth, is it, Andy Fusco?
Okay, here we are in turn 2, Paul. Thanks a lot. Yeah, yesterday turn 2 at Syracuse was Wall City. A number of crashes, including a very, very severe one involving Guy Sheldon and Maynard Ferret. Here you can see it. Ferret in the white car gets collected by Sheldon, who comes off the curb. Ferret goes hard into the wall in turn number 2. He was injured. He injured his arm and his leg, but he's okay, and he's in today's race. Now this right here is the exact spot where Maynard Ferret hit on the wall yesterday. Let me tell you one thing. We don't expect turn 2 to be nearly as dangerous today. The reason, the track is a lot less dusty, a lot less cinders, and looks to be in terrific racing conditions. Now back to Paul Small for the most famous words in racing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Prolong Super Lubricants, Steve and Matt Petrovelli with the 4 most powerful words in the world of professional motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
There you have it.
The engines roar to life here at the New York State Fairgrounds as 55 cars, 55 drivers ready to test themselves to the limit in the Prolong Super Lubricants 358 Modified Championship. Leading our field, the Rush Hour Pace Truck, a Dodge Dakota, provided by Sam Dell Dodge in downtown Syracuse. And it's time to take a look at our starting lineup for the Prolong 200. On row 1, pole sitter, the M1 of Jimmy Horton, and outside the number 6 of Danny Johnson.
Second row on the inside, young driver out of Sheffield, Massachusetts. They call him the Wild Child. It's Andy Bacchetti. Alongside is the driver that finished third here last year, Kenny Brightville.
On to row 3, three-time winner Brett Hearn, and outside the 31 of Steve Botcher.
Row number 4 on the inside is the 1991 winner of this race, Billy Decker, and alongside is Joe Plaza.
On to row 5, it is Todd Wilkinson, and driving number 21, defending champion, three-time winner Kenny Tremont.
In the Reclamation 33 on the inside of row number 6 is the 1980 winner of this race, Jeff Hetzer. Alongside is the 1995 winner, Jimmy Hauser.
On to row 7, Dickie Larkin in the number 99 and the 14J of Alan Johnson.
The 8th row on the inside finds Jerry Higbee. Alongside is Jimmy Chester.
On to row 9, it's Jimmy Jeanette and the 83 of Tommy Meyer.
Last year's 358 Rookie of the Year, Timmy McCready's on the inside of row number 10. Alongside is Chris Crispin out of South Salem, New York.
1993 Mr. Dirt 358 Modified Champion, row 11, number 19, Timmy Fuller, and the 114 of Craig Van Doren.
Row number 12 on the inside, and Dick Humphreys. Hot Rod Lincoln is Guy Sheldon. Alongside is Ralph Rue out of Englishtown, New Jersey.
On to row 13, Bud Crispin in the number 18 and the 89B of Todd Burley.
Row number 14 on the inside is Gary Tompkins out of McDougall, New York. Alongside is Mike Perotti. He's out of Morrisonville, New York.
Row 15, Elaine Boisvert and the 37 of Kyle Jacobs.
Troy Boy Griffin out of Shortsville sits inside of row number 16. Alongside is Todd Milton in car number 96.
On to row 17, Dave Adams and Wade Hendrickson.
Kevin Federley out of Messina, New York sits inside of the 18th row. Alongside in the Gable Motorsports number 1A is Tim Dwyer.
On to row 19, the 3 of Bill Mullen and the 1X of Todd Stone.
Leon Gagno out of Chazy, New York sits inside of row number 20. Alongside is the Hurricane, finished second here in 1995, Steve Payne.
To row 21, the aforementioned Maynard Ferret and the 56A of Pete Thicknell.
Pat Ward, who qualified for this race just on Thursday evening at Brewerton, sits inside of the 22nd row alongside his second-generation driver Richie Vincent out of Sanborn.
Row 23, a four-time Mr. Dirt 358 Modified Champion Pat O'Brien and the 3H of Dwayne Howard.
Jumpin' Jack Johnson sits inside of row number 24 alongside his Mike Benson out of Eagle Bridge, New York.
To row 25, Doug Hoffman in the number 5, 1985 winner, and the number 6 of Keith Hoffman.
Incidentally, those are brothers, the Hoffmans. Rick Mills on the inside of row number 26, and Dale Plank is alongside.
Row 27, Randy Sherlock and Brian Turner.
And in the 28th row, starting position number 55, goes to Vic Coffey out of Leicester, New York. And an update, Jack Johnson, who was scheduled to start in the 24th row, that car has been scratched.
The field heads into turn 2 and then down the backstretch. Our starter and flagger is Kenny Marshall. Our honorary starter is Ms. Prolong, Marnie Capraro. And we're getting set to go racing here.
Doug, there we have a shot of Wade Hendrickson. His car did not fire. A young driver out of New Jersey was hoping to make this race as a rookie, and they're taking the hood off, so there's a major problem there for car number 82, Wade Hendrickson.
Well, we've been looking forward to this moment as the field now heads into turn 3.
But
and
Doug, we've got a problem. Excuse me. On the pace lap here, the cars are crashed on the back straightaway. The track is completely blocked. They cannot possibly go green here. The pace truck comes back on the speedway. Tough break here before we even got the green.
Boy, and
that's Richie Vincent, I believe, up against the wall, the white car against the wall.
There were at least 5 cars involved.
Well, thank goodness for radios. They got the word to the starter, David Farney. We did not go green.
Well, let's see exactly what happened. Andy Fusco is on the scene. Andy?
You can see it right there. Brian Turner's number 11 has gotten clobbered. What happened is the number 10 of Randy Sherlock got sideways when the field was beginning to get under acceleration. He then got walloped by Turner, who got collected by Maynard Fred, of all people, right behind him. The number 11 sits right in front of me here on the back straightaway. Heavy damage to the left-hand door side of the automobile. Also against the wall, Richie Vincent's number 93. He looks like he got the right front into the wall. He's done for the day as well. The safety crew's now slowing the field down. The race hasn't even started, and Brian Turner looks dejected. Brian, what happened?
We were coming down through, and everyone checked up, and there was no place to go, and I got hit from the rear. And I think we'll be all right, though, here in a minute.
Be okay.
All right.
For the number.
Yeah, of course, that is the question. This race is not yet underway, and so can these cars get collected and get back out there?
Well, they can get back out there if they didn't have a major problem, but Richie Vincent's car is on the hook, and that'll be a major problem. He probably won't make it. Here's a replay of the action. We can see them stacking up on the inside, and there goes Vincent's car up against the wall, and then it all gets ugly.
Oh, absolutely incredible, and this is as the field was just accelerating on the backstretch. Let's get an update down in the pits with Cowboy Paul Small.
And the car that was the part of that whole incident and actually kind of started things, Randy Sherlock with the number 10, came into the pit area. They looked at the sheet metal damage on the right-hand side of the car. They checked the front end. He appears to be okay, and he's back out on the racetrack.
Well, Brian Turner just earned that spot to get in this race last night at a good run at Rolling Wheels Raceway Park. Again, we didn't probably establish that up front, but all these drivers, all 55 of them, are here by invitation only. They had to get a spot in one of the qualifying races this summer.
Yeah, and this, it should be pointed out, is not a points race in any way.
This is just a money race. No, again, by invitation, therefore they can't award points, so it's a money race for sure.
Well, we're checking out the action along pit row.
That's Dwayne Howard, driver out of Pennsylvania, that's making his way back to the speedway with the red and white car number 3. So it would appear that the Turner car is on pit road, and Richie Vincent's car is out as well. We're set to go now this time around.
And once again, the field accelerates in turn 3, and everything is looking smooth now. Out of turn 4 they come. They hit a white chalk mark, and then it is all out down the front straightaway. And the Prolong Super Lubricants 358 Modified Championship is underway. And into turn 1, Danny Johnson tries to wrestle the lead away from Jimmy Horton, and he's got it into turn 2.
He'll make the move on the outside. Daring Dan, the stock car man, grabs the lead, and there you see the field shuffling down the back straightaway at speed. Oh, this is really treacherous.
Well, they're handling it better in the back of the pack than they did during the pace lap. And they're in and out of turn 4 and down the front straightaway. And it is Danny Johnson, your race leader, with Jimmy Horton in second place. And Brett Hearn is all of a sudden number 3.
Hearn came from 5 to 3, negotiating turn number 1. So Danny said at the top of the show he didn't have to worry about Hearn. I think he's got to worry about it because Hearn is coming like gangbusters.
You know, right now, Danny Johnson has opened up about a 10-car length lead on Jimmy Horton as once again they speed down the backstretch. Everything looking rather smooth, at least at this moment.
There's Mike Barati making a move on the outside, the red and white car. There we see Ronnie Meyer in car number 83, white car.
Laps in of a 125-lapper, 200-kilometer race. Danny Johnson wrestled the lead away from Jimmy Horton in turn 1 and 2, and now Horton is starting to close in just a bit as we have a car in trouble.
Caution on the speedway.
Bill Mullen is the car that is stopped.
I don't think so. There's Brian Turner's car that I'm sorry, that is Mullen's car. Okay.
That is the number 3. And we are 3 laps into our race. Prolong Super Lubricants 358 Modified Championship. And we have a yellow on the racetrack. We'll be back with more coverage. We're live from the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse. Super Dirt Week 26 continues on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. Super Dirt Week.
Prolong 200.
So here's the thing about humans. We hate being out of the loop. That's why Frontier Cellular has lots of very smart people working very hard to make sure you're never out of touch. With phones that work virtually anywhere you go, affordable calling plan options for any budget, and a network that gets bigger and better every 3 days. So give us a call or stop in and talk with us. Because, hey, nobody likes to be out of the loop. And all of us here at Frontier Cellular, we're with you.
I can't believe they went with the frogs.
Louis.
Our audition was flawless.
Louis.
We did the look. Huh? We did the tongue thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
Louis, frogs sell beer. That's it, man. #1 rule of marketing.
The Budweiser Lizards. We could have been huge.
Hey, there'll be other auditions.
Oh, yeah, for what? This was Budweiser, buddy.
No.
This was big. Those frogs are gonna pay.
Let it go, Louis. Let it go.
Fabulous Myrtle Beach, #1 for championship golf. Call Myrtle Beach Jet Express at 1-800-FUN-TO-SUN and fly daily nonstop jet service from New York and Newark to Myrtle Beach from only $79. And for a limited time, fly Myrtle Beach Jet Express and get 2 days of free golf. That's right, free golf at many of Myrtle Beach's finest championship courses. Discover incredible beaches, live entertainment, and free golf from only $79. Only on Myrtle Beach Jet Express. Call 1-800-FUN-TO-SUN.
We are back under green at Super Dirt Week 26. The Prolong Super Lubricants 200 358 Modified Championship. Leader continues to be Danny Johnson. Jimmy Horton is second. Brett Hearn is third. And he is really pushing the back end of Jimmy Horton.
Hearn is right there looking for an opportunity to make a move on the inside should Horton slip, but Horton will try to protect the inside lane. McKenny runs in position #4. Brightbill is in 5. Plazik is in 6 as we work lap #6.
Hearn ducks inside, but he's cut off by Jimmy Horton, protecting that low groove here at the Moody Mile.
There's Hearn making a move on the outside now as they come out of turn 4, but then he drifts in behind and looks to the inside as they enter turn #1.
I guess the question I can ask you on a super speedway like this one, the Moody Mile, how much drafting is there?
Air is very much a factor here. These speeds on this track, it's drafting, it's riding the right airwaves, just like in Winston Cup racing. Not quite as fast, but air's a problem.
'91 of Billy Decker, the 33 of Jeff Hetzler. You see them racing out of turn 4 and now down the front straightaway.
We got a couple of cars out of the race already. Tommy Myers out with his number 33, and Jimmy Chenette is also out with car number 15. Here's the battle for the number 8 spot. Hetzler has it, but that is Todd Wilkinson in the white number 47 working, trying to get the spot. And here they are all stacked up behind Paquetti. Again, Paquetti running in the number 4 spot.
And this is the kind of action we expect to see all day long. There's Pat Ward into the pits.
Pat Ward's going to call it a day early here with the John Finch car.
Look at 1, 2, and 3. Boy, the action is great here at the New York State Fairgrounds, and we expect this. A lot of cars in this track, a lot of traffic.
The top three under a blanket. Danny is the leader. Horton looks for room on the inside. He's now challenging for the lead as Hearn will fall back and watch for a little bit. About 6 or 7 car lengths back is Bacchetti. Right behind him is the black number 19 of Brightville. And then it's Plazic. Stevie Botcher is next in line. Defending champion Tremont will follow him as we complete lap number 9.
Just amazing to see how hard these guys are driving this early in the race. Talk about saving their machines. I don't see a lot of saving going on.
No, they always go through that lingo at the head of the show, but they don't mean it. Or they might mean it then, but once the green flag flies, they forget what they did mean.
In their heart, they know that's right.
Yeah. Here we see the yellow number 91 of Billy Decker trying to make a move on the 21 of Kenny Tremont. That did not work as they worked down the back straightaway. Here's the battle for the lead.
Danny, Jimmy Horton, Brett Hearn. And everything is status quo.
Yeah, but Kenny's catching them. Tremont down low on the base racetrack. Well, he wasn't so low. It was the fact that Decker was high. Decker driving one of the Ford-powered cars. Now, Doug, we haven't established this, but there is a Chrysler-powered car in the field. That's Steve Payne's car. There are a couple of Fords. The rest are all Chevrolets. But we have at least a representation from all three major motor companies.
Good battle for position involving Jeff Hetzler and Kenny Tremont. Hetzler the 33-21, Tremont.
Hearn has fallen off the pace just a bit. The front two have opened up about a 10-car length separation. And Andy Bacchetti is right there, the wild child out of Sheffield, Massachusetts.
And right now there is a battle for the lead. Battle for the lead with Danny Johnson and Jimmy Horton.
Craig Van Doren blowing up here on the front straightaway. Van Doren in the 114 has just lost the motor. Now that's the team that went back to Pennsylvania. They've got a piston. One of their crew members went all the way back to Pennsylvania for a particular piston that had broken yesterday. They replaced the piston and made the other repairs that they thought would take them the distance, but it didn't work for the 114 of Van Doren. It's Van Doren, as the graphic shows, not Van Doren, as I say.
As we continue under green, they're getting set to throw the yellow.
Whoa, man. He
That
went for the
was
top of the, yes, it was close. And now the yellow plate does come out. They almost had a crash. That was much too close.
And so we are under yellow here at Syracuse. 14 laps in. And there is
Van Doren.
Yep.
Pete McNell has just taken his number 56A to the infield area, and he appears to be out of the race as well.
There's your leader, Danny Johnson. Freightliner's number 6.
McNell out. He was driving for Messina, New York driver Billy Woodward this weekend. Woodward buys McNell product cars, and they had a bad week. They lost an engine on Thursday. Yesterday they had a backup engine that blew up in flames, and now today they've got their third engine problem.
Now look at this close call in the backstretch. Oh my.
That's as close as you can get to having a wreck without having a wreck, I'd say.
There is living proof there are no rearview mirrors in these cars. Oh boy. Look at that. They're your leaders too, right behind.
Could have been a very bad situation. This track is rough on 358 engines. Long straightaways, they really wind them up, and we saw a lot of engine problems yesterday. I think we're going to see a lot of engine problems today as well.
Well, running third in this race is Brett the Jet Hearn, and what a week he is enjoying thus far. Running third in this race, he has already earned $18,500 with various wins and placing in races during Super Dirt Week around Central New York. Not all the action this week is here at the New York State Fairgrounds. Also, there's been racing at Brewerton Speedway and also at Rolling Wheels Raceway Park.
And that was, both those events were for these cars, the 358 cars. There we see Timmy Fuller's Kinney Drugstore's number 19 on pit road. Fuller, who had started in position number 21, has a problem here in the early going. Also on pit road is Gary Tompkins in the Jimmer Stevers number 84. Kevin Featherly visits the pits as well in car 67. Now they can make a stop now, but this won't count as their official pit stop. The official stop has to come after lap number 30.
Down here in the pit area right now, they're working on the Tim Fuller Kinney Drugstore's number 19 machine. The problem is on the left front corner. They're replacing the left front shock. When it came in, the car was kind of nosing onto that left front, so that means that either something in the cartridge or perhaps the piston inside had been damaged. They're screwing it into the top of the shock mount here, and they should be able to get back up. They're going to lose at least one lap, but possibly more in the pit area while they're making this change.
Not good news at all.
Fuller, the 1993 Mr. Dirt 358 modified champion, who's splitting his racing duties this year between big blocks and small blocks, hoping for a good showing here today. It won't happen.
He now goes a lap down.
So we'll set the field for you. The race leader is Danny Johnson, as he's been the entire distance so far. The pole sitter, Jimmy Horton, runs in position number 2. 3 is Hearn. 4 is Bacchetti. 5 is Brightbill. Running 6 is Plazik. 7 is Botcher. In 8 now is the 91 of Decker. 9 is Tremont. And rounding out the top 10 is Hetzler in car 33.
Leader Danny Johnson took the lead on lap 1 in the first turn from Jimmy Horton. And as for his crew's strategy, down to the pits and Andy Fusco.
Thanks, Doug. Charlie DeAngelis is the crew chief on the Danny Johnson number 6. We've got lap 18 in the books. What lap are you going to bring Danny in?
31.
Will it be just a gas and go?
Gas and go.
Will you even look at the right rear tire?
No, not a good shape.
How do you pit a car in a 15-foot stall with that many cars coming in at lap 31?
It's kind of tough. Going to have to be awful careful.
We're back under green. Up to you guys.
Yeah, we had a car in the wall on the restart, but looks like he got that thing straightened out.
I believe that was Doug Hoffman. It was way up in the marbles. Hoffman driving a yellow car number 5 today. We're used to seeing him in the red car number 1, but it's the yellow number 5. Actually, we've just been told that it was Timmy McCready in his yellow number 94. Oh, we got a wreck almost happening on the back straightaway, but they got away with it once again, Doug.
See, it should be pointed out, these fellas are going at such an incredible rate of speed. When the car gets a little squirrely, I just can't believe they're able to bring it back.
That was Chris Crispin that was way out of shape, the young driver in the number 23, but he brought it back and saved it.
How about top speed down the straightaways?
I would say the top speed here today will be on the straightaway about 120.
And there they go. Those are your leaders, 1, 2, and 3. Danny Johnson, Jimmy Horton, and Brett Hearn in the balance of the field.
That's Decker looking on the inside of Stevie Botcher. Botcher, the young driver out of Lehighton, Pennsylvania. And the Zeller Mobile, car number 31. Trying to hold off the advances of the hard-charging Billy Decker. Decker will be relentless in that affair. And here comes the 33 of Hetzer looking on the inside of Tremont. That pass won't work either.
Yeah, can't quite get it done. Back to Botcher for a second. He had only 3 or 4 hot laps Thursday before recording the 4th fastest time in time trials.
Yeah, they've been chasing a vibration in the car, which returned yesterday. They hope that they got that problem behind them, and I'd say right now they do. He's a very, very nice young fellow. Comes from a great racing family.
Out of turn 4, down the front straightaway. Look at that pack. Your leaders, 1, 2, and 3, all within about 4 car lengths. And Hearn tries it down low, but again, Jimmy Horton slams the door in turn 1.
Yeah, under a blanket was a term we use a lot in racing, and that worked. That would have worked right then, but now they're stretched out just a little bit. And meanwhile, the 19 of Kenny Tremont has moved by Bacchetti. So, I'm sorry, the 19 of Brightbill has moved by Bacchetti, and so we've got a position change there.
Brightbill finished 3rd last year in this event, and he's currently running 4th.
Running 4th and running strong, and now Plazik looks to the inside of McKinney, trying to take over position number 5. That won't work, but Decker is closing in.
Let's take a look at the replay of that restart in turn 3 and 4. Let's take a look. Oh, right here. Look at that. There was contact between Danny Johnson and the M1 of Jimmy Horton.
Unbelievable.
And actually, at the time that was happening, I was looking further back at McCready's incident.
I didn't see it either, so we're glad we got good cameramen.
We do have that. What a great crew we have capturing these sights and sounds from Super Dirt Week 26 at the New York State Fairgrounds.
Super Dirt Week, the greatest extravaganza on dirt. It all leads up to tomorrow's Phase 300, the world's richest dirt track stock car race. And there we saw Plosick looking down on the inside of McKetty. Joe Plosick out of Caister Center, Ontario. On the bottom, trying to take over position number 5 from McKetty as they race down the front straightaway. Decker is right there behind him.
McKetty, 21 years of age. He won a big block race in Orange County this year. Last year he recorded fast time trial lap for this race. But it was Joe Plosick who got by him there.
They call him the wild child. He's not all that wild, but he certainly is quick. Racing the top 5 of 23 laps. Again, this is a 125 lap, 125 mile, 200-kilometer event.
We're now at lap 25. And that means we are closing in on that magic 30 mark, after which these fellas can pit their mandatory pit stop. And you've already heard that Danny Johnson's crew decides that they want to call him up on lap 31. Does that mean we're going to have a green flag pit stop?
I think that he was really telling us at any time after lap number 31. But I mean, at the first caution after lap 31. But the interesting story there is they were not even going to look at the tires. Now, Danny is traditionally very conservative on tires, despite the fact of all the rough riding and so forth, the dangerous things that we call him. But he does a good job on old tires, so they're able to keep him out longer.
The battle for 5th involving Joe Plosick, who's running an 88 Olsen car, maybe one of the oldest chassis in the field. Many of the parts are updated, of course, but we're talking about a 1988 Olsen car.
But it's a low mileage car. They don't use it here on the mile. Hard miles, but not very many of them.
Our lap counter reads 27 right now. Remember, 1 mandatory pit stop. They're your leaders down the back straightaway. And here's Joe Plosick on the move against Kenny Brightbill. He's got the veteran.
Canada Joe, the 35-year-old father of 5 out of Caister Center, Ontario. The family operation. The family operates an auto recycling business in Caister Center. They operate their race cars on the weekends, and they do a great job at both.
Brightbill running very, very low on the racetrack. He's being passed now. He's got problems.
Kenny Brightbill has a problem because McKetty has gone by him. Decker is right there to make the pass as well.
So Plosick is up to 4th, and Brightbill is falling back. Knocked out of the heat yesterday by a cracked cylinder head. His team worked feverishly putting in a backup motor, which has some 600 laps on it for today's race, and it's not going to get very many more.
He finished 3rd here last year. They're stacking up behind him now. Here's Botcher looking for room on the outside. Botcher in the green and white car. Right tight behind Botcher is Tremont in the red-white number 21, and then it's Hetzler in the orange and yellow number 33. And they're all, this is going to get dangerous here in a minute, Doug, because they're stacking up behind this slowing Kenny Brightbill. 49-year-old father of 7 kids.
Lap 30. And the pits will be open.
And when they open the pits, and that could happen right now because we got a car slowing, it will be a wild, wild scramble. Car slowing on the inside of the racetrack.
As of yet, the yellow has not come out.
He can stay down out of harm's way until they can clear the racetrack. I think that's Richie Vincent, the driver who was involved in the incident. Here comes Danny. Plosick coming in.
So Danny Johnson, our leader.
Danny Johnson and Joe Plosick. So green flag pit stops. I said we wouldn't have them. Here they are. They're all coming in now. Payne is in. Hoffman is in. Timmy McCready is in. It was a gas and go, quick one for Danny. Gas and go for Plosick, but they're taking their time. Monk Weatherstone getting every bit of gasoline out of that 22-gallon or 20-gallon container.
Well, many times you play follow the leader in a situation like this. Horton and Hearn did not come in.
Very interesting strategy. The interesting part is the green flag pit stop because we thought we were going to have a yellow. Here's Richie Vincent. It was slow earlier, slowing on the front straightaway, and he will clear, so that won't bring out a yellow.
There is the Tremont-Hetzler battle. There's Jimmy Horton.
Now, both Danny Johnson and Joe Plazik and Steve Payne made it out without losing a lap. But Tim McCready and Doug Hoffman, their gamble for a green flag pit stop didn't pay off because they lost a lap. So McCready and Hoffman losing a lap on this green flag pit stop.
Kenny Brightbill is pulling into the garage area. He is done for the day. More tough luck for the racing veteran.
Here's a shot of our race leader. So Jimmy Horton is the leader now. The M1 running second is Hearn in car number 20.
Now, Danny Johnson's pit stop was almost more like a stop and go.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They weren't so careful about getting all the gasoline out of that can. I said it was a 22-gallon can. I think that's a 10-gallon can. That, of course, they wouldn't take 22. The fuel cell holds 22 gallons, so it takes 2 cans to fill it up. But they're not concerned about all that right now. Just getting every bit of it in that they can get in out of that.
A couple more race cars coming into the pits.
Timmy McCready is in again. It's one of the cars coming in. And Alan Johnson. And McCready is going behind pit wall. So Timmy McCready has a problem. And Alan Johnson apparently with a problem as well, as he's very slow here in the Mike Maroney car. It's a brand new car from Pete McNell's operation, owned by Canadian businessman Mike Maroney.
2 weeks ago, Alan Johnson won his second Skoal 358 Series championship. He's had misfortune here the last couple of days.
Yeah, and they're crawling into the car, so Alan Johnson's race day is over. Or at least a bid for the win is over.
Jimmy Horton is your race leader. He stays out on the track.
And he is right closing in on Steve Payne. Now, Payne, right in front of the yellow white car, has made his pit stop. Billy Decker is now on pit road. There you see the Randy Ross Quality Hardwoods Ford-powered car. So the Ford is away.
All right, well, we've had a series of pit stops under green flag condition. How does it shake down from your eyes?
Well, as we said, Danny Johnson, Joe Plazik, and Steve Payne were able to get in and out without losing a lap. Now, they are right in front of the leaders, but they're fast cars, so they probably will not get on a lap. But for Hoffman and Tim McCready, there's a problem. Of course, for McCready, that wasn't really a factor because he's out of the race at this point anyway.
There's Brett Hearn.
You got to be running near the front of the pack to pull off a green flag pit stop without losing a lap, and so we won't see many of the back of the packers trying to do it here. But we're waiting for Hearn and Horton to show their hand.
Yeah, normally, as we mentioned, normally you follow the leader, and in was Danny Johnson, but Horton Hearn stayed out. As to why Hearn is still on the racetrack, let's go down to the pits and Andy Fusco. Well, we'll look for that report coming up a little bit later. There is your race leader out of turn 4 and down the front straightaway.
You can see how close the leader Horton is to those cars that have made their pit stop. And I said earlier that wouldn't be a problem for them. They were fast cars. But the way Horton is closed in on them, that may be a factor as he's trying to get around Steve Payne. There you see the second place car. Brett Hearn running all by himself. But the leader, Horton, trying to put a lap on Steve Payne. The yellow flag is out. That has saved Payne and Plazik from going a lap down. And there's the reason for the yellow flag. It's Jimmy Chester, the driver out of Newfield, New Jersey, the Blue Moon Potato Company. Car has lost a wheel. He has slammed against the wall. That brings out the yellow on lap number 39. And that is going to be a big story, Doug, because, again, our leader was about to lap the back of the pack cars that had already made their stop.
And so now we will follow Jimmy Horton and Brett Hearn and see what they decide to do as far as possible pit strategy. Let's see what their move is. They're now heading down the back straightaway.
Now, they have to wait for the pits to be open under yellow. There's a man down there with a sign that says stop and go, and right now it says stop or red. They will not allow the cars to make a stop until the pace truck has picked up the leader and they get the field collected behind the pace truck. This is our fourth caution of the event. Again, Jimmy Chester, driver out of Newfield, New Jersey, losing a wheel on the Blue Moon potato car. Gets up against the wall.
Pits are open now. Let's see if Horton comes in. Yes, here comes Horton. Here comes Hearn. And the race is on down pit lane.
And Doug Hoffman stays on the track. Now, he had lost a lap.
Let's get the update on the pit stop. Paul Small.
Jimmy Horton putting fresh Sunoco Racing gasoline in the M1. They are also changing tires. They've got the left rear Hoosier Racing tire on. They brought 2 tires out. They have changed 2 tires. And it looks like they're going with the extra hard Hoosier compound. It's Horton getting ready to go out. Andy Fusco down, and everybody else is coming in too.
He changes his left rear. He changes his right rear as well. Gas in the Auto Palace number 20, and Hearn is away.
And Hearn delicately fits into the stream of traffic heading out of the pits. And, well, Hearn comes out ahead of Jimmy Horton.
Delicately out of the pits. We will never forget the crash that Hearn was involved in here last year in the Phase 300 on pit road.
All right, so our leaders have all visited the pits and back out on the racetrack here at the Moody Mile. We are live at the New York State Fairgrounds for Dirt Modified Racing's annual Spectacle of Speed, Super Dirt Week 26. Our Prolong 200 continues on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour, Super Dirt Week.
Prolong 200.
Making it to the pros takes a certain level of excellence, the experience to get the job done right, and a reputation for quality. Like dependable CarQuest filters, high-efficiency filters keep your engine running clean and smooth. That's why professionals choose CarQuest. CarQuest filters, superior by design. So for the best possible performance, install what the pros install. CarQuest. Welcome to the pros.
Whether your car is Strawberry Pearl Coat, Santa Fe Silver, or Candy Apple Red, a PPG certified collision repair shop uses premium paint and a palette of over 100,000 colors to precisely match your car's color.
Whether it's fleet or manufacturing coatings, we have you covered. So when you choose PPG, you're selecting a world leader as your partner in coatings technology. For all your coating needs, call Saves Auto Body Supply, 315-468-2111.
Agent 18. We meet again.
You'll never get away with it.
What? World domination. Behold! My master plan.
No matter how much you spend, some PCs lack the power to help you conquer anything. When your PC is powered by the AMD K6 MMX Enhanced Processor, awesome speed and multimedia are on your side.
Check out Sports Channel in October. The Devils and Islanders hit the ice against Lindros and the Flyers, Gretzky's Rangers, the Capitals, Kings, and many more in 23 big games. Get intense pro football coverage with NFL Total Access. And go inside the game with hardcore football. College Gridiron fans can follow their favorites on NCAA Weekly, The Slam. And October 31st, catch the Nets season opener against Reggie Miller and the Pacers. It's all coming your way in October on Sports Channel.
We're back at the New York State Fairgrounds. The Prolong Super Lubricants 358 Modified Championship, all part of Super Dirt Week 26. With a update from the pits, let's go down to Cowboy Paul Small.
Jimmy Horton changed Hoosier Racing tires, and right here I have with me the extra hard compound tire that came off. This tire is hot, it is blistered, and that's after only about 39 laps on the racetrack. So that's why they went for the tire change. They're running the same extra hard compound. Also, Kenny Brightville is out. They had a broken plug wire, and Tim McCready knocked out by either a motor or an alternator problem. We're not sure which one just yet. We're going back to green.
Back up to speed here in New York at the New York State Fairgrounds.
Our race leader as a result of the positions exchanged under pit stops is Guy Sheldon in the Hot Rod Lincoln. Running second is Maynard Ferret, but a rocket in the number 3 spot. Now going to second is Billy Decker. Decker, who had made his stop under green earlier, did not lose a lap. As a result, he gets track position that we talked about earlier. He was running about 5th. He's now up to 3rd, and he is going to try to reel in, up to 2nd, try to reel in the 18 of Sheldon. We have the yellow number 5 of Hoffman leading the race, but he is at the, showing as the leader, but he is actually at the very end of the lead lap.
Well, let's get an update from Brett Hearn's pit and Andy Fusco. Andy?
Thanks, Doug. Down here in Hearn's pit, the right rear tire was cupped. That's an evidence of wear. The left rear looked pretty good. Now, what they did is they tightened up the car, putting less stagger, a smaller right rear tire. A loose car will wear tires more quickly than a tight car, so tire wear is a factor. Danny Johnson, that's something he's going to be thinking about.
Boy, you better believe it, as we have a car slowing and now coming into the pits actually just beyond the pits, very, very hot.
That was Doug Hoffman. Doug Hoffman calls it a day, and again, he was at the very end of the lead lap after having lost a lap on pit road, but then shuffled back around to the front as the way the pit stops progressed. But talking about stagger, I don't think that's really the issue. The issue is the fact that those tires are wearing out. We talked at the head of the program about how they were going to gamble. Some of them are going to gamble. And if those tires are wearing out after 30-some laps, we're going to have a problem here for the leaders that did not change tires.
Well, of course, our race leader at the time ducking into the pits, Danny Johnson, did not take the tires, so...
Danny didn't change tires. Decker didn't change tires. Payne didn't change tires. Those are some of the guys that are running up front now, but the reason they're there is they did not take that extra time on pit road.
Good battle here involving Joe Plazek and Jeff Hetzler and Steve Payne.
Yeah, Payne is the rocket up on the outside. My goodness, he passed 4 or 5 cars between turn number 2 and turn number 4. So that's, again, that's the Chrysler-powered car. Doug Holmes, Finger Lakes Auto Machine car, now up to position number 8 and a rocket.
Yeah, and he's flying.
3 wide down the front straightaway. Plazek up on the outside. Down on the bottom was Hetzler as they went by Maynard Ferret.
Yeah, look at Brett Hearn. There's Kenny Tremont.
Excuse me, Doug. That's a battle for position, but the leader is Guy Sheldon, Nassau, New York, driving Dick Humphreys' Hot Rod Lincoln, we call it. It's a Ford-powered car from Danbury Competition. Decker runs second. Another Ford car, so we got Ford's cars running 1 and 2. Ralph Rue unofficially running in the number 3 spot. Back in 4 will be Danny Johnson, but Danny is being pressured by Kenny Tremont.
There's Brett Hearn trying to make some headway, and it's tough to come by.
Yeah, he's given up that track position that we talked about. He was trapped in behind Todd Gurley when we saw him in that shot.
Good battle there.
Here's Payne. He's made a move around Timmy Fuller now.
Brett Hearn in the Auto Palace number 20. Going high down the front straightaway and completes a pass. Now ducks in low.
Hearn runs about 4 cars in front of Jimmy Horton. Now, those are the 2 front-runner cars that have changed tires, so we'll watch for them to make their way towards the front.
And as we mentioned, much celebrated, the stop and go by Danny Johnson. No tires changed. Let's get an update on the Danny Johnson situation with Andy Fusco.
Thanks, Doug. Charlie DeAngelis, when Horton and Hearn came in, they showed significant right rear wear. How does Danny say the car feels?
Car feels pretty good. We looked at our tires, and our tires were good, so, you know, I think we'll be all right with tires.
Do you ever second-guess yourself in pit strategy?
Oh, many times.
Well, let's hope not today. Thanks, Charlie.
All right. So our action continues here at the New York State Fairgrounds. The Prolong Super Lubricants 358 Modified Championship. 52 laps are in the books, 125 on the docket, and our coverage will continue on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour Super Dirt Week.
Prolong 200.
No one covers dirt modifieds like Area Auto Racing News. No one. Plus, NASCAR, the world of outlaws. If it's sprints, late models, midgets on dirt or asphalt, we've got them covered. Subscribe now. 50 weeks, just $36. Call 609-888-3618. As a bonus, get the remaining 10 issues of 97, including exclusive Dirt Week coverage free. 60 weeks for the price of 50. But only if you call now. Operators are standing by. Call 609-888-3618.
A-Plus Mini Market, your 24-hour ticket to convenience.
Now every 10-ounce, every 16-ounce, and every 20-ounce cup of Colombian coffee is just 79 cents at participating A-Plus and A-Plus Express stores, where one price fits all.
Over 3,000 items. A-Plus Mini Market, 24-hour convenience. Your store, plus more.
Sunjet's great low fares make it easy to fly coast to coast. Call 1-800-4-SUNJET and fly nonstop from New York to Chicago, Atlanta, and Las Vegas from only $79. Also fly Sunjet to Dallas and nonstop to Los Angeles from just $99. Sunjet, no restrictions, just low fares every day. Chicago, Atlanta, and Las Vegas from only $79. Dallas and LA from just $99. For the best and lowest fare in the air, call Sunjet, 1-800-4-SUNJET.
Production support for Rush Hour on Dirt is provided by Access Rentals in Syracuse and Albany, New York, one of the country's largest suppliers of aerial lifts. They extend every effort to get your job done professionally. Access Rentals. Just as we went to break, Jimmy Horton spun in turn 4.
He spun, but he didn't hit anybody or anything, so he is back at the back of the pack now with the M1 car.
Now, Guy Sheldon is our race leader.
Yeah, he took the lead on the pit stops under yellow a while ago. Billy Decker runs second. Ralph Rue is third. Randy Sherlock in car number 10 will run in position number 4. Kenny Tremont is 5. Danny Johnson is 6. Steve Payne is 7. Joe Plazek is 8. Jeff Hetzler is 9. And Todd Wilkinson rounds out the top 10 here as we complete lap 55 under yellow.
Let's get the update on Billy Decker down in the pits with Andy Fusco.
Thanks, Doug. Sheldon has not pitted, so for all intents and purposes, Billy Decker is the race leader. His crew chief is Scott Jeffries. You guys had a heck of a pit stop.
Yeah, well, we figured after the first two pitted already, so we better get in here and beat them out, or we're not going to have a chance of getting them because there's not much passing today.
Now, we interrupted you. You were talking to your driver. What does Billy have to say?
The car feels real good right now. We're just having them conserve gas and the tires. Hopefully we'll make the rest of the race here, and we'll see what happens at the end.
Now remember, fellas, that's a Ford in the 91. Back up to you.
And we're going back under green now. 55 laps in. And Guy Sheldon is your leader in the red number 18.
A pair of hot rod Lincolns. SVO Ford-powered cars running 1 and 2. Ralph Rue holds on to 3, but he was challenged big time by Kenny Tremont, who got too high, lost some ground. Sherlock got trapped in behind, and here comes the Hurricane Steve Payne in his mighty Mopar. So the Chrysler-powered car is in position number 5. The battle for 6 is a good one. Sherlock has it. Danny Johnson wants it, and Danny slides by on the outside as they enter turn number 3.
And the cream is rising to the top once again here as we get out of turn 4 and down the front straightaway. Remember, Sheldon is your race leader. He has yet to pit.
Joe Plazek looking racy again as he looks to the inside of Hetzler, who has his hands full trying to find a way around Randy Sherlock, the driver out of Milford, Pennsylvania, in the Tri-State Roofing car. There you see the black car down at the bottom. That is the Sherlock car. There is Hetzler trying to make a pass.
Can't quite get him there.
Plazek is there. Hetzler makes a mistake.
Oh, boy.
Wilkinson is right there as well. And then there's Hauser, former champion of this race. Hauser in the black and green HB2 car, the Hauser Brothers Mechanical Contractors entry. Danny Johnson has a problem on the back straightaway. That's Danny on the bottom of the racetrack, and he pulls off the race. Danny Johnson out of it here on lap number 58.
Yeah, that's on the back stretch, so might be a while before we can identify the problem.
It's got to be driveline because all the tires are inflated, and if it was just a tire, he'd have rushed around here to have a tire change. So he's going to call it a day. So Daring Dan, the stock car man who won this race back in 1994, will not win it in 97.
Well, he gave it a good show for a while, but now he's limping back into the pits and out of contention.
Out front, it's still Dick Humphries, number 18, with Guy Sheldon at the keyboard.
We are nearing the midway point of our Prolong Super Lubricants 358 Modified Championship.
Brett Hearn now is running in the top 15. We'll try to get an official position for you here in a moment, but he is right behind Todd Burley and Jimmy Hauser.
Boy, he's got a lot of racing to do to get back up front.
Yeah, he does, but he's got those fresh tires on, so that shouldn't be a giant problem for him.
There's the top 5. Guy Sheldon, Billy Decker, Ralph Rue, Eddie Tremont, and Steve Payne, the top 5.
Then it's Hetzler, Joe Plozek, Todd Wilkinson, Jimmy Hauser, Todd Burley, and the 20 of Brett Hearn.
All right, well, Danny Johnson is out of the race, and in Johnson's pit is Andy Fusco. Andy?
Angeles 6.
Got motor problems.
Exactly what?
I'm not sure yet. As soon as we get him in.
Well, that is a shame for Danny Johnson. He'll give it a shot tomorrow at the Phase 300. Meanwhile, Billy Decker is running such a strong race right now.
Strong and closing in. There you see the separation is about 2 car lengths.
It's between 3 and 4. Now into turn 4, and here's the turn down to the front straightaway.
We mentioned Todd Burley's name just a moment ago. Todd running just in front of Brett Hearn. Burley, young driver out of Spencerport, New York. He was working, trying to make some repairs to part in his trailer earlier this morning. The drill slipped. They put the drill bit right through his finger. Blood all over the place. They put some racer's tape on it and sent him back on his way. Or on his way. He may go to the hospital tonight.
I think he should. Steve Payne dueling there with Kenny Tremont.
Jimmy Chester is slow on pit road with the Blue Moon Potato Company car. He's losing a lap.
There is your battle for the lead. Guy Sheldon and Billy Decker. This is the Prolong 200 358 Modified Championship, all part of Super Dirt Week. And as the back straightaway now, we have a battle for position.
Decker was down on the bottom, almost able to make the pass. Had to back out of it just for a moment. And with that, Sheldon